Whoa! Oh my god! Whoa! Hell! Jesus! Whoa, it's not even dropping much voltage at all! Welcome back to the channel, guys. I'm still building this blooming battery. That's right, if you haven't been following the latest videos, I'm building a new battery for the Vapor. And yeah, every time I come in here and look at this, see that tyre, I just think, oh my god, that just looks so crazy. So yeah, I'm building a new e-bike battery out of these cells, Samsung 21700s 30Ts. Now these can deliver 35 amps, as I said before in the other video. Just crazy stuff. So what I'm doing is I'm building a small lightweight pack for the Vapor so that I can run 4000 watts, maybe higher. Don't know, we'll see how it goes. So this is going to be used for extreme power, ripping trails really quickly, you know, quick discharge pack, not like, you know, 20-mile e-bike jaunts, stuff like that, just a quick blast. But the thing is, this pack is going to serve two purposes, because it's 72 volts, it's going to be a 72 volt 20S pack. It's actually going to enable me to have a fair amount of range if I run the bike at low power, which is a really interesting thing. And this is where having high discharge cells can actually be a bonus, because it allows you to have a crazy pack that you can flick into insane mode. But of course, with the cycle analyst, you can set different profiles, so you can also have, you know, a low power mode as well. Anyway, it's taken me ages to get this far because I just haven't had time to get in here and just do a solid amount of time on this pack. But I'm halfway through. I've done one 10S block, and I'll show you, I've got to do another one so I can make a 20S battery out of this. I'll show you what I've done. Put that across the top. Always stick that across, because if any tools and crap comes flying off there, you could end up with a fire if it lands on there. So this is what I've done so far. I've done parallel connections on both sides of this battery. I've done series connections across here. Now these series connections are 0.2 nickel, which can, you know, I don't know, I think it's like 5 to 10 amps or something like that. So it's not enough for this pack. I need this pack to deliver 70, 80 amps, around that sort of level. So what I've started to do here, as you can see, is I've actually used copper, pure copper cable, this stuff, which is basically this stuff, 4.5 millimeters squared, 35 amp cable. So that is capable of 35 amps. So obviously, you know, with two of these, it's going to be around 70 amps with the nickel, probably a bit more. I think that's going to be enough. Could potentially put a bit in the middle, but I was trying to, because you need to solder this, I was trying not to kind of expose it to too much heat. Now you can see my ridiculous soldering iron I've got here as well. This is a 100 watt soldering iron. You need something this big if you're going to be soldering on any, you know, lithium ion cell 18650s, that sort of thing, because you need to get in, get that solder joint done and get out quick. And the good thing about this one, it's got such a chunky surface area that it holds the heat, so it can basically disperse the heat really quickly once you put it on there. So this is where I'm at now. Still got to do the copper traces on here, and then all the other ones on the other side as well. So it can take a bit of a while. It's going to be worth it because it's going to limit that voltage drop when you put the power on. So I'm tinning the end first. So when you pull the casing off, all the strands of wire don't go over it. And then just tin the other side. See how quick that does that? It's mad. And then basically just tin this nickel strip here. I'm going to stay away from the middle of the negative end of the 21700 cell because there is a delicate area in that middle, and you notice that all professional spot welds nowhere is anywhere near that middle. So always stay away from that centre area. There's some information about that online. But basically what you want to do is just get in there quick. So I'm going to put some solder on the iron, and just basically hold that there for a couple of seconds, and there you go, done. So it's a nice little blob of solder. And the top isn't even hot. You can't even feel that at all. This is a 100 watt iron. So same on the other side. Don't have to worry about it being in the middle on this one. Just make sure you don't melt the the ring going on the side of it. So a little bit finicky this time. That's it, on. It's not as good that side, but that'll probably just melt in that bit. Yeah. Now I've got my bit of copper wire on some tweezers. Let's clean the iron again a little bit. It does get pretty black at these sort of temperatures. Right, and then I'm just going to hold that over the top of there, press down, and you'll see how quick that actually happens. Right, that's that side done. I can just add a little bit of solder in there as well, just to make it a bit of solder on the end. And then same again this side, press that down, that's done. You can use the tweezers just to, you know, just make sure that's seated down all right. This side could do with a little bit more solder, but to be honest, don't know. I'm going to put a little bit more on. There you go. It's flowed nicely towards the edge now. So there you go. I'm pretty happy with that. It's a nice joint. It's not going to go anywhere. It's never going to come off. So I just need to carry on now and do the others. Right, there we go then. all done, both sides. So happy with that. So what I've got to do now is make the next bank. So same again. You know, thinking about it, you could actually put this copper bar on before you welded it, but I don't know, it just it would be a bit more fiddly, I suppose. This is an easier way of doing it. Well, I'm impressing myself, guys. I've just knocked this up quickly, another bank. So the other one's over here, finished. And this one, I've done all the parallel connections. Just need to do the seal connections. That's what that nickel's for there. Needs straightening out with these little pliers. And yeah, one thing about this welder, I've mentioned this before in another video, but if you're running it off lipos, be really careful how hot you actually let the lipo get, because this will heat up everything. Like this welder, it's basically short circuiting a lipo. So if you're running off a lipo, just keep an eye on the temperature of it, because it does get hot. The car battery would probably be better. It's just a little bit more resilient. But yeah, I've just got to do series connections on here, then do all that copper wire interconnects on there. Then I can put the batteries together. I just got to work out how I link those in series. I think I'll probably use this copper cable again, maybe like a couple of runs of that to link the two packs together. But I've just got to work out, oh no, that bite's not here. I've just got to work out where it goes and how it fits, because I think I might have to stagger the packs to actually get them to fit in here. A couple of hours later, I'm done. I've done it, second pack. So that's not bad for a day. Just, well, I mean, in between everything else I'm doing as well. So that's done. So next up, I need to get these packs together in some sort of way, shape or form. But that's about all I'm going to do for now, because we've got a free Wagamama's tonight. One of Sarah's review things for a restaurant. So we're going to head over there, get some grub, and then I'll be back to this probably tomorrow. Right, it's the next day now, guys. Wagamama's was brilliant last night. Got to try some of their new menu, their new food on their new menu and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. I've been filming a video with Sarah today. That's why I've got my Christmas jumper on, so go check that. I'll leave the link in the description to that one. We're just like tasting different vegan and vegetarian Christmas sandwiches and stuff like that, so that's pretty cool. So I'm pretty stuffed now. So back to this battery then. That's what I've got to do. Got to get this finished. The progress is going well. So I haven't looked at the last clip of the camera, but I think I was just showing where these batteries have got to go. So I've kind of got to do them in a format like that, so they can kind of go in the triangle bag like that. And I think if I do kind of put them together like that, it doesn't matter. They can be permanently put together like that, because then I can, if I do make a plastic box, this is probably going to be a better shape than kind of having them like that. Yeah, so what I've got to do now is kind of, I've got to put the balancer on, got to do the balancing wires before I wrap all this up, main power leads. But I'm just super excited now because it's so close and I just really want to give this a test run. Yeah, so in the bag, this is how it's going to go. So we need to have 3 cells exposed up here. Not exposed, but you know, sticking out there. Right guys, so here's my solution. I've kind of got these packs together and I've got this series connection here. So I've basically just done another copper strip there to take the current across those 3 cells there, and then I've kind of done double 2 times 35 amp this cable here. It's not ideal doing it this way, but because of the formation of the pack I need to split it some way, so that's how I've done it. You need a really powerful soldering iron to do this quickly, because otherwise you're just going to ruin cells and stuff. And this, you just touch this on there and that just melts almost instantly, so hardly any heat going into the cells. So yeah, that is now seriesed up. So basically, if we get the meter and we measure across there, 71.2 volts. There you go. So next up, guys, is the BMS. This is the BMS we sell on the CloudSlow store. It's a 24S 300 amp BMS. Probably overkill for this, but this is the BMS that I use for all my bikes. I've got one in this one right here, and Tony Vortex makes the app as well for this. It's called VBMS, Vortex BMS. It's actually a really good app. This is how you wire up a 20S pack. It's kind of, it's a bit weird if you first look at this, but basically these 2 connectors are the ones you need to use for the balancing leads, and you can see here 20S, the diagram here, which is also on the website. So you go 1S starting from the negative end right the way up to the top. That whole connector on that side is fully populated, and then this second one you actually go all the way to the end there, and then you actually have to run an extra wire right at the end which powers the BMS. It will make sense once you kind of look at it, but at first I get a lot of questions about this. You basically just got to start at the beginning, run through 1S, 2S, 3S, 4S right the way up to 20S, and then on that final wire you'll also need to then run another one right to the end terminal on this connector. So in effect, that one right there, that final one at the end. And then there's an on-off switch, which is momentary switch. You just push it and it turns the BMS on once. Hold it down and it turns it off. It's different kind of command levels for that. This is Bluetooth, so it connects to a phone. It, you know, if you've seen the other videos I've done, you know, it's an awesome bit of kit. You can actually just use that as a dashboard, because Vortex, what Tony has done is added speed on there, like GPS speed, so you can use it as a complete dashboard if you want. And then, you know, you don't have to I keep turning around to the bike because I'm thinking it's the other one, but yeah, the other one's out there, and you can see on there that cycle analyst. You can remove that. So what I'm probably going to do actually is it sounds like they're having a party over there. What you can actually do is use a quarter turn mount, put that on the back of a small smartphone, then run phone there with the Vortex app on, and then basically you don't need anything else, you just need that, and then you can remove this cycle analyst. The cycle analyst does handle the throttle as well, so with the motor temperature, if it gets too high then it will reduce the throttle, things like that. So that's one thing you can't do with that if you're just running the BMS on its own. But so I'm going to get busy inside the BMS kit. You get all the wires, they're all nicely crimped with these crimps, so you can just slot them into these housings, and then you're good to go. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to get these prepared, and then I can start wiring them to the individual you know, series banks. So this is it with the wires in. They're not connected to anything, they're just hanging down, but basically this is how you've got to wire it up. So what I was saying about the 20S, this is the final 20S wire, that one there, the last one, and then there's another 20S one as well. So these two effectively have got to go to the same place. If you don't connect this red one, then the BMS won't fire up, because this is how it gets its power for its microprocessor and everything in there. So that's how you do it. So I'm going to trim these wires back because they're just ludicrously long. It's good that you get that much wire in the kit, and then we'd have to start connecting to here. I need to do some more copper, big chunky copper traces on those final ends, which I'm going to have to do the negative one before I put the negative balancing wire on there as well. So yeah, this is going to slow me down a little bit, all this. Right, I've been going through it again. Balancing wires are on, oh my god, BMS wires are on. So yeah, I need to sort of work out how these cables are going to go, because it's an absolute mess at the minute. Oh, still going. So it's a bit of a fiddle. You've got to kind of, you know, manipulate the wires in such a way. When you're doing these balance wires, it's good practice not to kind of run the balance wires over other terminals, just in case, you know, with vibration and stuff, if anything ever kind of rubs and wears, you don't want it sitting on top of, you know, another battery connection, because it's just going to obviously short out. So what I've tried to do is just kind of route cables in between things, or if they are going to go over terminals, they're going to go over terminals that they're already connected to, and then tried to get these connectors in a place where the BMS is ultimately going to go, which isn't really easy. And now I'm just going to basically just insulate all of this with Kapton tape. Kapton's great because it's like temperature resistant, so that's a good insulator. Nothing really goes through that. It can be a bit brittle, like you don't want to kind of put a lot of pressure on it over the top of kind of sharp solder joints, which we haven't really got here, but I'm going to do that. I'm going to insulate all that up, then I'm going to go over with fiberglass weave tape, my usual kind of thing. Then you really want to put some padding over it, like foam or something, so I'm going to look into what I'm going to do with that. But ultimately I've just realised I need to solder on a power connection onto there, so I need to take that off. Right, it's the next day again. So I didn't really do much more last night. I just really kind of just carried on kind of insulating it up. I've got all these wires sorted, so they're all kind of nice, and you know, it looks much better. I've worked out that my BMS is going to have to go here, so basically like that over the top. This is going to connect to that black terminal there. I have actually plugged the leads in the BMS and just checked to see if it's all working, and it's working, so that's all good. These BMSs need to be programmed before you kind of use them, so I will be doing that. I'll show you how to do that in a sec. So what I'm going to do now is connect up the battery end to the BMS, so I'm probably just going to use one of those wires because they are pretty chunky. It's not really worth using two, not for that. And then on the other side, what I'll do is I'll use one for the charger, because they both go to the same place. So I'll use one for the charger and one for the main leads of the battery, and that will kind of save me having to solder on twice. First of all, I'm going to stick a big bit of card, very thick, you know, it's almost like fiberboard card, over the top of there, so the BMS has got no chance of touching any terminals under there, even if it does wear a little bit. Right, I'm improvising now. I had to put the positive wire on, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to put basically make sure I get all these terminals sealed up, then I'm going to put the BMS on after that, because I'm worried that there's a risk that it might short across some of the terminals, because it's actually got a metal case on it. So I'm going to wrap this battery up properly, then put the BMS on. So I'm using these little kind of foam backed adhesive things. I can't remember, I got on Pound Shop or something like that. Put them across any exposed terminals there, just so make sure, you know, nothing's going to wear through that. Right, so this is how it's going then. I've done the negative connection to the balancer, to the BMS. I can't tell you how easy, I know I keep stressing it, but how easy it is to do it with such a powerful iron. Just literally do that connection and get in, get out. So anyway, I've got all the balance leads connected to the balancer, the negative leads is connected, so in theory this thing should be on, but it's not, because it actually has a momentary switch, which actually goes on this little connector on here. It's different to the earlier versions of this BMS, and it goes in the side here, and then you basically run those two wires to a switch, and then that will turn the BMS on or off. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to try and get this wrapped up. I've realised I haven't done I've kind of closed these connectors up, and I haven't done a positive connector for the charge lead, which is over here. So I need to cut that off of here, and then yeah. Right, here it is then so far. Not bad, eh? Not bad. So I'm going to connect up the power switch now and go onto the Vortex app and see if we can get it connected to Bluetooth and see what's actually happened and whether I've wired out wrong or not. So I connected up where the switch has gone. I've just basically touched these two wires together so that the BMS comes on. It's got a flashing light on, which means there's a problem. It means basically the settings on the BMS are probably wrong. Got this kind of like Android smartphone kind of radio thing. People have been asking me questions about where I got this, but it was a sample. Well, I won't go into that now. So here we go. VBMS app is up the top. Right, okay, I got it paired. It's confusing because I had too many devices. I've got too many of these BMSs around. So Tony, if you're watching, we need a way of connecting to multiple BMSs. Hope that's not too much trouble. But anyway, I've got it connected, so you can see here we're 71.2 volts, looks about right. So what we need to do is we need to go into the settings. It's saying balance line drop cell. Now that is probably because it's basically set up for 24S, and you can see there's no voltages on those last lines. So what we need to do is first go into first we need to go into the settings and set this all up. So it's fairly straightforward. You can leave most of these, you know, in the position that they are. 4.25 for charge over voltage, maybe a little bit high. We could change that to 4.2. So when you push the set button, the BMS makes a beep to show that it's actually stored the parameter. Number of cells, here we go, 24. So that is basically what you don't want. You want 20 in this case, because that's a 20S pack. So that should resolve that other problem. Right, battery total capacity. So we want to set this to what it is, which is tiny battery, 9 amp hours. There you go. Residual capacity, you can leave that there. So that's it. Gone through those. I may go through fine tune those, but here we go. So this will show wrong first of all, because that's how it works, and then it kind of, once you've discharged it, it will actually kind of sort itself out. What else? So now we need to just go back to this bit here. Look, it's not even balancing. That's crazy. All the cells are actually, this is what happens when you get brand new cells. They're just all slap bang on. Look, 3.56, 3.56, 3.56. That one's 564. That's why it's flagging a red one there. So that's your 20 cells there. All done. Power's on. Charge is on. Yeah, good to go. How simple is that? So I'm going to wrap it all up, get it all sorted out, and then we can start to charge it. I do need to do this switch, which is going to have to go on the handlebars. Where's my handlebar switch? So I've got this push button switch. You need a push button switch for this. So this is going to go, probably mess up the handlebars, the nice clean handlebars, and then run the wire into there, so I can actually turn the bike on nicely just by pushing this push switch, exactly like I've got on this bike. It's all wrapped up then. I just tested the voltage on here. This is a charge lead. Thing with this is an XT60 connector, and that's what the phase runner has actually got on it, on the bike. Now, obviously, people are going to go, that's a bit thin. You've kind of, you know, done all these really big wires and everything in there to handle it, and then you go down to these tiny little cables. Well, mainly the reason for doing all the big chunky wires in there is the voltage drop. So when you're putting a pack under load, whatever the current, you're going to get a voltage drop or sag based on the resistance of the cells themselves and all the interconnects in between them. So, because there's a lot. So, you know, the reason for doing the big wires on that is to obviously make sure that the voltage doesn't drop under loads like 60 amps. And I mean, this cable maybe is questionable, you know, if these really can handle like 60 amps plus, but you know, it's a short run, and you know, the connector on the phase runner is one of these, so I can't really do much about that. Anyway, enough of that. I want to get this on charge, charging at 4 amps, keeping it pretty slow, and then you can see here, look at that, 0.004. Right, you ready for this? It's done. Doesn't look like the prettiest thing in the world, I know, but it is done. So here we got 9 amp hour, crazy battery, made out of 21700s, 30 T's, and I've got an on-off switch as well, which you just click. I'm just going to stick that on the handlebars, so it's quite a nice one. That's Amazon special. Got main power lead, so that's just plugged straight into the controller. I'm going to have to make a little hole in the bag so that this wire can go straight out the bottom. Charge lead as well, which is these Anderson connectors, so that's just going to basically be in that bag, and then I can unzip, get this connector out and plug it into this charger here. And we haven't got far to go, it's nearly charged. That's pretty cool. Got a bit of an LED light show going on, a bit like Knight Rider. I'm hoping this balancer isn't going to get too hot under there. You know, it shouldn't do if it's not doing huge amounts of balancing, but we'll have to see. It has got a shutdown. Almost done. This is exciting. It's going to be a nice ride as well. Lovely sunset's going to happen out there. I've done it! I can't believe it, I've done it. The switch, so the power switch is on, battery's in there. Got a bit of an issue with this suspension clearance. The little kind of boost thing that goes there, it's a bit close. I've turned the suspension, I've made it just firm for the moment because I might have to sort out something there to stop this from banging into the battery. It's a bit annoying, but it should be right for just a test run. Here we go, the moment we've been waiting for. Well, I've been waiting for. Press that button, hold it a little bit, and cycle analyst will come on. Oh yeah, I can feel the suspension is pretty hard because I've just cranked that down. So we've got 82.7 volts. Everything's reset, brakes are working, tyre pressure's all right, everything seems good. All right, let's see what happens then. Whoa! Oh my god! Whoa! Hell! Jesus! Oh my god! I'm gonna have to. It's like got a turbo flipping band that comes in. Like, it used to do that on the other battery, but that is flipping ridiculous. Oh my god, that just whacks you. As when that comes in, like the pull away is quite quick. Like, that's pretty good. I mean, it's dropping down to like 79 volts from 82, so it's not dropping a lot of voltage at all. You're not getting much sag anymore. Oh my god, this is something else. Ah, I'm gonna get covered in mud. I'm gonna get covered. It's aggressive. What? I can't really believe what I'm seeing right now. These cells, I'll tell you what, this isn't even warmed up. It wasn't even completely fully charged either. Oh dear. Kirby's gonna kill himself. Wow, it's not even dropping much voltage at all. Rapid, absolutely rapid. I mean, I'm not even in the highest. What gear am I even in? Blimey, I'm not even in the gear. I can't even talk, I'm so gobsmacked about this. Unreal. Right, let's put it in. I'll put it in the next one up. This is gonna what? I mean, it maxes out in that gear, but yeah, it's probably what you don't really want, because you sort of want it to. Sorry guys, I can't think straight. I just can't think straight. So you're hitting the maximum speed of that gear now. So really, yeah, the optimal one is the one below that. This is a fun machine and a half. I've run out of room. I need to go easy on this because I'm going to rip up his field. Absolutely ridiculous. I just can't even believe it. It's mad. This battery is not even hot either. It's literally just, it's lukewarm. I don't think it's that much warmer than it was when I charged it. What on earth? That is so insane, guys. I can't even believe it. But I can definitely feel some creaking going on in the back. I can definitely feel some creaking just around that sort of rear drivetrain. So I think something's just going to shatter sooner or later. So that's my next thing. That's the next thing. I need to sort out a high power drivetrain for this. This gear or this gear are the ones. You know, this one gets you a little bit more top speed. I don't even know how many teeth that is. I'm not sure. But this top one's just nuts for acceleration. But I think once you start getting down past this third one, I need to find out how many teeth it's got. But once you start getting down around there, I've had it skip once, and that is a bad sign. And the next thing's gonna, and is the hub probably, he's probably gonna go. But it just shows you, I've literally just come back, and it's not showing the miles on here, but 3.16 amperes, that's what I've done. It's only down to 76.8 volts. And the motor temperature is dropping rapidly, 29. I didn't clock what the highest temperature was actually. I probably could find out though. Maximum amps as well, it was only 53 amps, because the voltage is so high. It's just not pulling the amps now, which is nuts. Obviously I'm going to have to do some more tests, but first response, extraordinary battery. Anyway guys, that's it for this one. It's going to be an epic one as it is, so I think I'll leave it here. There's going to be more to come on this, and yeah, I'm blown away. Catch you next video. Oh yeah, don't forget to subscribe, like, follow me on Instagram, all the usual stuff.